I'm going to have to do some homework here to see everybody who's shown up, but we're at 2:03. I'm going to go ahead and start to share my screen. We actually, before I do, just to give people a quick introduction, if you guys, Michelle's going to be speaking to us here about halfway through. But beforehand, if you could just introduce yourself to Michelle. Michelle, just give a wave. Michelle Carlen, she's joining us and speaking to us.
Michelle.
Hi, Tracy.
How are you?
Hi, Gabe.
Good to see you again.
Good. Good to see you guys.
Hello.
Hi.
So why don't we go ahead and start with you, Tracy? I know that the two of you know one another, but if you wouldn't just kick us off, and I'll do a little call. I'll go around so that I can make sure we hit everyone.
Okay, yeah, Michelle, so great to see you again. Michelle and I used to work together when she was with the Monterey County CVB. Seems like forever ago.
I know.
And at that time, I think I was with La Playa, Carmel. Yeah. So I've been here as Director of Sales at the Inns of Monterey for almost a year and a half now, believe it or not. So happy to see you and can't wait to hear what you have for us today.
Aw, so good to see you, Tracy. Sending love to you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Darlene, if you would join us next.
Sure. Darlene Smith, Lake Arrowhead Resort and Spa up in the gorgeous mountains of Southern California.
Awesome.
Great. And working from home.
Yes.
Chris, if you would kindly go next.
Okay, Chris Kiesling. I'm with Lake Tahoe Resort Hotel at Heavenly, and we're very excited. We have been open and working, but Tahoe is overcrowded. It's busy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big topic, over tourism.
Yeah.
Deborah?
Hi, I'm Deborah Weiss from the Westin La Paloma Resort and Spa in Tucson, Arizona.
Wonderful. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Nancy?
I'm Nancy Wagner, Director of Sales and Marketing at the Hilton in San Diego, Mission Valley.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Nancy.
Blossom?
Blossom Adler, Lake Tahoe Resort Hotel.
Hi, Blossom.
Gabe?
Nice to meet you.
Michelle, good to see you again.
Thank you.
We crossed paths back in Newport.
Irvine.
And Irvine, yeah. I'm currently with the Sheraton San Diego Hotel Marina, but I am on foot.
Awesome. Great to see you.
And Robert?
I am Robert Gazelle Flores. I work for the Anaheim Majestic Garden Hotel, obviously in Anaheim. Been furloughed for about 6 months now, but there's rumors that Disneyland will open hopefully next month. But that's just a rumor. Fingers crossed, exactly.
Yeah.
I take care of corporate, but now that some of the employees have been let go, I'm going to be taking care of some of corporate association and Smurf.
Nice to meet you, Robert.
Nice to meet you.
And again, I just want to give you guys a big round of applause for everybody getting a camera and being on camera. It does make a difference. And okay, this worked out perfectly. We've got one last person joining us here. Fran, if I could ask you to unmute. Everybody just said hi to Michelle Carlen. If you could take a few moments to say hi, that would be wonderful.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Fran, if you could just tell Michelle just a little bit about yourself and the hotel that I'm thinking it's a resort because it has 800 rooms.
Yeah. Fran Brown, the Senior Sales Manager at Kalahari Resorts and Convention Centers. We have 4 destinations. Wisconsin Dells, Poconos, Pennsylvania, and in Ohio. And November 12th, we open up in Round Rock, 20 minutes outside of Austin in Texas. Our property has 890 guest rooms and 215,000 square feet of convention center space.
Wonderful.
Great.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to start with today's presentation. And okay, so welcome back, everyone. And as we have talked about, who here is very familiar with adult learning being about repetition? So we're gonna keep with that theme. And you know what? I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. I'm still losing you. That's all right. Well, I just love to see your faces. Sorry, I'm missing you. I have one. So we're going to review from August 5th, 12th, and the 19th, all of our coaching calls. The first thing that we covered on August 5th was the site selection professional mindset. And who would like to share with us what you are still being mindful of, especially as you guys you've been doing really great with your assignment, especially as you've been doing your assignment, and how that has helped you with understanding the site selection professional? Who would like to start to share with that?
I will share something. One thing that has been helpful to me that you brought up, and that came up in, I think, Monica's presentation, was that concept of asking them like what their relationship was, where they were, not necessarily in the sales process, but if this was a new client to them versus someone that they'd worked with for several years, just having that understanding of if they're new, just trying to secure the account, then what can you do as a hotelier to help make them look good and just be on their side of helping them solidify their relationship with a kind of a newer customer.
That's wonderful, Deborah. Does anybody have anything that they'd like to add to that?
I think it's Tracy. I think that's was certainly some fabulous insight for me as well, because the site selection professional is certainly my client as well, and we need to treat them as such. And how can we make them look good makes them obviously respond hopefully more positively to us and support us a little bit more if we can offer something for them. So I too took that as something that was of great value. And then another was, I really enjoyed, Michelle, the avoiding the fluff. We always want to sell our destination, but with as much information as everybody seems to have, it does seem that just the facts, ma'am, seems to work best, and that was helpful for me. So
wonderful, wonderful. So who out there has an RFP that they're currently working? Thanks, Tracy. I appreciate that, and thank you, Deborah, too. Who has an RFP that they're currently working?
This is Fran. I have received one today.
Good. Did you happen to read it 3 times, or did you think about reading it 3 times?
Yes, I read it 3 times. I read it very thoroughly because it was a pretty large one for 2027, but nonetheless, it was one of my site selection professionals that I reached out to. The majority of them did not know about our location, so it was good. I mean, very lengthy conversations, relationship building.
Good, good, good. Someone besides Fran who is working on an RFP.
Not getting a lot of them these days.
I'm working on one. Actually got a couple.
Thanks, Nancy. Okay, Nancy, have you on any of those RFPs, have you started to use the proposal checklist that we talked about in our second call?
Yes, yes, and I've changed a little bit of my attitude about all those questions that are on in Cvent, just to instead of even though I know maybe it's answered in the description of my hotel, to spell it out for them anyway, and have just paid a little bit more attention to those, and again changed my mindset about them.
Cool. Cool. Thank you. So, Deborah, you actually talked about what we covered last week when we talked about interested, qualified, and committed. I'm going to do a little bit of a quiz here. Does anybody want to talk about at what point do you know if someone is interested in your hotel?
When they have sent you an RFP.
Good job, Deborah. Good job. Okay, so, and qualified, how do you know if an account is qualified? If that's, when does it go from it goes from RFP to what, and what makes that how do we know that it's qualified? Someone want to join in besides Deborah?
Well, I missed last week, but I would say that, you know, having an opportunity to actually speak with your site selection professional to determine if your property is a good fit. But I think just following up with, you know, being able to communicate with them. But again, I missed last week's session. But to me, I want to make sure that we're both on the same page. So I'm not sure if that was it.
When we're shortlisted.
Yes,
Yeah.
Chris, you nailed it. Yeah, it's shortlisted, or if you're asked to do a site inspection. Now you know you've went from interested to qualified. And committed, I think this is a fairly easy one. Who besides Deborah and Chris would like to take a stab at how we know that the group went from interested to qualified to committed?
Asking for the contract.
Who said that? I heard somebody
asking for the contract.
When they want a contract.
Yes, yes, yes. Who said that?
Tracy. Yeah.
Tracy.
Okay. Good job. Good job. Okay. And you guys have been, I saw all the homework. I just popped onto the Facebook page beforehand. So tell me about this, the exercises of calling the 10 site selection professionals. We did 3 of these assignments. Who wants to speak to that? And I'm going to stop sharing so that I can see all of you while we do this. Who wants to talk about going through that process and that discovery?
Michelle, I had a fun thing happen to me today. You know, I'm still trying to catch up since I missed last week, but I had a fun conversation today with a third party who actually gave me a lead of one of her old clients that they decided they wanted to go direct with hotels from here on out. I mean, she lost them as an account maybe 2 years ago, but she's like, Deborah, you know who you should call? You should call ABC. And I thought that was great through my calls that now I have a new referral for a piece of business. So for a new account.
That's wonderful.
So
that's wonderful.
But you know what? I have a question. Since I missed last week, I don't want to get you off on a tangent, but I had a quick CVent question for you. So let me know when would be a good time for me to ask that.
Why don't you go ahead and ask it now?
Okay. So it was really insightful hearing, showing your screen and showing where to get rid of stuff. But sometimes we get those CVent leads where they don't list any requested concessions. When that happens, I don't like to throw concessions out when I don't know what they want. And I usually just write, I'm happy to discuss your concessions to make this a fantastic fit for you. But then sometimes a client will call me and say, well, so-and-so offered me blah, 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 blah. So I don't want to look like I'm not going to offer something. So what do you recommend to do when they haven't asked for anything? They don't have a concession wish list.
Yeah, that's same thing as I try to educate meeting planners all over. It's the same thing as saying, just quote me your best rate versus actually sharing their budget. So that's a common, I didn't know that that was common or that happened. But what I would do is say, for a piece of business like this, here are some of the concessions we would consider offering. We're open to others. And I would pick ones that aren't, don't hit your bottom line. Things like suite upgrades, depending upon how many that you have, you know, a discount on audio visual, because 50% of that actually goes to, you know, 50% goes to the hotel, 50% comes to you. Other things that you can take a look at that might stand out that other people don't do, from myself being on the hotel side, is maybe a percentage off coffee, like 10% off coffee. That has a high markup and it has a huge impact on the bottom line. So those are just, but I'm using things that I share with clients that don't typically cost the hotel, like a 1 per 40 comp or 1 per 50 comp, that really hits you. You know, offering comp rooms really hit you. Doing those other things that kind of like they're built into other costs, from my experience when I was on the hotel side. So I'd look for those types of concessions to offer. You know, we have some resorts here, maybe a discount on the resort fee, that sort of stuff, because that's not gonna hit your star report quite the same way from how I remember star reports. So that's what I take a look at. Okay. And I'm gonna go back to sharing my screen, and we're gonna go back, and thank you so much, guys. I'm glad that we're all awake and alert, and we're going to now talk about Facebook. So today's session is about personal branding, and I have to stop sharing my screen for a second so that I just want to share with you. I don't know if you've all noticed, but I have been dressing in purple and or chartreuse, or I've had like green jewelry on. I have been branding myself this entire time leading up to today's call. If you, I'm going to share my screen again, just so that, because I didn't want to stand up here, and I want to go to this. So I will share with you, with Avery Murphy, I use Facebook as my CRM for each of you. So actually, as an exercise, write down for yourself just a quick little note. If you and I are not friends on Facebook yet, I was going to do it today, but I was getting everything ready for today's call. I wanted to see if I was Facebook friends with all of you. If you're not Facebook friends with me, I'll give you, here's my Facebook page. This is how you know it's me. And you'll see that I do things even in my cover and in my photo to brand myself. I'm going to go down here, and this is one of the reasons that so let me start with the first thing. Whenever you change your profile picture, you go to the top of everybody's lead. And I recommend, if you guys don't have one, and I did this because we just did as a training exercise with a new Avery Murphy Rockstar. We did site inspections in San Diego, and we took a bunch of pictures, and I wanted to put them out there because I'm actually hired for a speaking engagement with the Sacramento SGMP. And in there, I'm talking to the meeting planners about getting out there and doing things, even if it's something like doing a site inspection. So on the site inspections, I did this so that I would be on top of everybody's news feed, so that as I posted on the site inspections, that people could see. So you'll see here, I'm still in my purple. Actually got the same jacket on that I have today. Did another one. This is from the Avery Murphy. I shared something. So if you have your own, if your hotel or resort has its own Facebook page, for every now and again, share something from that page to brand yourself as part of your organization. Here's another one from the same day, but I broke these up on different days just so that they didn't all get caught together. And another thing that you might want to do is put in here social distancing pics. If you guys have started to set your rooms, that's not something that's on your collateral right now. So do the social distancing so that people can start to, it's like doing the site inspection is the same thing as when you go to buy a car, taking the test drive. So people talk about social distancing, but what does that look like? If you have had a smaller meeting and there's actually been people in there, do it with the people in there so that people can see that it's not necessarily awkward. Another one at another hotel. We talked, if you're doing a site inspection, I highly recommend that you do something as simple every single time as a welcome sign in the lobby with the Site Selection Professionals logo as well as their client's logo. This time we did this with our new Rockstar, so we don't have that. And then interspersed with that, who you are. Now this is my social media, I'm sorry, the woman who helped me with my Facebook ads, she tagged me on there. I did a personal trip, asked for an industry rate. But here's some other things that I did, is I did signs of what people are doing to make people feel safe. Here's a little station of sanitizing.
Like that one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on.
That's okay. This is what they were doing to clean their rooms. The little housekeeper stepped away, but it's, you know, this looks like it's something from the Jetsons. I'm aging myself here, but you know, all of us who watch the Jetsons as a cartoon, that's you know, those are things that you can put on that you're doing. And then I just, you know, I did a day with my mom yesterday where we went to the Park Semperfi in San Clemente. Here's an individual who's really great. So let me step back before I go in to talk about Michael Dominguez. So the CRM systems that we get, Helms Briscoe doesn't have a CRM system that they give to all their associates. I do not know about Conference Direct, nor do I know about Experian, but I have to get my own CRM system. And to get a CRM system that puts in suppliers like yourselves would probably cost me about $100,000. So it goes from something that's actually I pay, I think, $97 a month for our CRM system. So it's from $100 a month, which is what, $1,200 a year to $100,000. And that's not the best use of my investment dollars. So what I started to do is add everyone to my Facebook. And this is how I keep track of folks. And when we do site inspections, we started to do this. And I tripped around this accidentally. So what happened is I was doing site inspections and I was posting, and we were doing them in LA, and my client got really excited and she had us posing with different pictures and everything. And the folks that when we left LA, we were going to Ontario, and the folks in Ontario, the CVB and the hotel, they were following me on Facebook, and they said, oh my gosh, when we saw LA, we totally revamped our site inspections so that we could beat out LA. And that's when I realized how powerful this was. It was just by me playing with it, and then I accidentally tripped across this. But one of the things, I don't have a professional photo right now because I don't have any professional photos of me as a redhead, but I do recommend getting professional photos done, but not the kind where you have a backdrop in behind you. You want like action poses or more friendly poses. Michael Dominguez has got a great example here of what he's doing. And Michael Dominguez, he posts quite a bit. And he shouts out to other, this is a wedding that he was at. He does these letter boards. He's really big on hashtags. If you want to follow somebody as someone who's an influencer, I would follow Michael Dominguez here, you know, and you can see he's mixed in with his professional as well as his personal. You know, here he's selling some golf clubs, and here he's got a family wedding. Christina, okay, I love this. So Christina got onto Facebook kicking and screaming. She did not want to be on Facebook, but she said, you know, I will do whatever you tell me to do because I want to be successful as a site selection professional, Michelle. So she got onto Facebook, and then Christina started to teach me how to do Facebook. And, you know, she's got some fun pictures that she puts on here. She's, you know, talks about relevant stuff that's happening, sending some love out to everybody who's dealing with the fires. You'll find out that she is a foodie. She's talking about what we can do to bring meetings back. So, you know, you want to hit the hashtags, how this all helps. She's talking about and being a proponent for women who are fuller figured, more food shots. She updated her Facebook page. Don't know who this is. This is one to talk about what's happening. I think this probably has a little bit more to do with Black Lives Matter, but also the adversity, sharing industry stories. That's another good one. Go here. Linda Hilton. Linda Hilton is a big Facebooker, and she talks about all different kinds of things. Let me start here. So here's Linda Hilton. Something you might not know about Linda Hilton. Anybody here friends with Linda Hilton on Facebook? No. Okay. Linda Hilton, she actually is related to one of the Hiltons. I forget the I forget, but Linda Hilton is a, for her exercise is a pole dancer. So people point out things to her. And so I'm just sharing with you, you can do so, you can have something about yourself that folks might consider the Hilton Prize. So she's, you know, got stuff in here with Hilton, but what I showed at the beginning was her new home. Here it is. This is, that's why she was doing that. And she's friends with Mary Beth Knobs. I was going to do Mary Beth's, but Mary Beth hasn't posted on Facebook in a long time. Flavio Martinez, he's with Helms Briscoe. Again, this is a nice professional looking photo. You're going to see he's into sports. I don't know if it's still his account. One of his accounts used to be Nike. So here's, you know, you can tell a little bit of, apparently I would say he is a Nebraska fan, right? Is that Nebraska? And for who's a sports person? I'm not. I might have that all wrong. But he's got a lot of pictures of his family. And you could tell who he's friends with on Facebook by who likes his stuff. A little bit of a sports guy. Oh,
Michelle?
Yes.
I have a question.
Sure.
I've always, you know, I'm all over LinkedIn for my business, and I've always, and for Facebook, I'm certainly friends with several of my clients and site selection professionals that I know really well. But I've always kind of felt that there's a business page for Facebook, and then there's your personal page. And you say you like to do it all together. You don't suggest separating it?
Well, okay, so that comes up quite a bit, and I actually have a note here, and thank you for leading me into that, Tracy. So some people, like Linda does pole dancing, and that's what she does as a workout routine. But some people post their pictures of when they're swinging from the pole, and it's not what they're doing from what do I want to say? It's not what they're doing from an exercise standpoint. So if you have like a personal and you want that personal stuff, maybe it's your politics. That's a big one right now. Christina didn't want to get on Facebook because of so many people posting their political views. And she happens to be very, you know, she's far on one side of the spectrum. And so the people that are far on the other side of the spectrum, you know, she gets distracted by that, and she just didn't want to get caught in that noise, right? So if you have something where you want to put your political views out there, I'm going to use that one because that's such a big topic right now. But you don't want that to be part of what's influencing your business, then I would say do 2 Facebook accounts and keep one of them vanilla. So the one that you would keep vanilla would have your name on it. And the one that you do that all your personal friends are invited to, those folks would have, you know, I would pick your nickname. Okay. Or a lot of times what I see is like peace officers have a page and they use like their middle name, or they'll use an initial, or they'll do something. So because you want to have some of your personal stuff out there, but you don't, you know, I have pictures of me where I have a pretty big smile, and you can tell, and my eyes are a little glassy and a little slanted, and you can tell I've had probably that 3rd glass of Chardonnay. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm a girl who has her 3rd glass of Chardonnay, so I don't hold that out there, but I also don't put out there every single time, you know, I've had the 3rd or the 4th, and, you know, I don't want that to be my image. So I let people see that I'm comfortable with that 3rd, 4th, or a whole bottle of Chardonnay. Occasionally, you might see that maybe 3-4 times a year, but you're not going to see that every single weekend that I'm going out. Mm-hmm. But if you want to put that out there every single weekend that you're going out, then I would recommend that you set up 2 Facebook accounts and you set it up differently. Mm-hmm. That's a great question. Okay. And the last person that I wanted to share with you is Monica Pla. And I'm sharing with you these folks because they're all doing different things to talk about our industry and different ways to bring people back. So Monica's hashtag is always Wanderlust because she loves the travel. And here she's got silver linings of a COVID time, a drive-in concert. So excited to see live music. Here she's on the road. She's doing road trips and making memories. So she's talking about traveling and doing it safe. Here she's in another travel situation, not directly related to her business, but talking about keeping a positive and what's going on. And then she, you know, points out a friend, but you can see that this is all, it's got her personal stuff, but it also has things of where she's actually been out traveling. Here's another one, traveling. And I do this too because on Facebook versus LinkedIn, you can get some of your site selection professional's personality.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell, let's just go back up here. Can you tell that Monica loves the outdoors?
Yes, definitely.
Can you tell that Flavio loves sports?
Yeah.
People are sending him pics.
Yeah.
Linda Hilton, can you tell that she's, you know, you know, if you didn't know her and you saw this first, you saw this, you'd be like, what the what? And you'd look and you'd want to discover her, right? And then you'd go, hey, Linda, do you pole dance? I mean, you should see the pictures of her. It's amazing. Christina, when you see Christina, if you did a site inspection with Christina, how likely are you to put some really yummy food in her room?
Good point.
Michael Dominguez. Now, Michael Dominguez, you might want to impress, but do you think Michael Dominguez would be impressed if you put a letterboard in his room?
No.
I actually think he would be. I don't think you have to spend a lot of money. This is my point, is it's like paying attention to the details is what's going to be, because he does these, like people start to post him for him.
One of my favorites, Michelle, is if you find someone, and obviously on Facebook, typically you'll find out where someone went to college, and then you put a jersey or a sweatshirt from their alma mater as a gift upon arrival, you know, in their room, and it goes a long way.
Correct.
They wear it
Right.
all the time. Yeah.
So this is where you can get like that personalized. So I share with Avery Murphy Rockstars, we use Facebook to keep our relationships with with you guys, so that we can know a little bit about you, because especially like after COVID, you know, everybody, a lot of this just got like put up in the air and we don't know where everybody's going to land. There's a couple of you that on the call today that are on furlough and we don't know where you're going to land. And in addition to LinkedIn, this just gives you a little bit more personality. I do like LinkedIn. I'm learning more about it, but I am not a social media person. So I pick one. I'm learning more and more about LinkedIn, but I spend more time on Facebook because I'm not suggesting that you all go to, you know, Facebook. If you're really good on LinkedIn, you might want to start to dabble in Facebook like I dabble in LinkedIn. And we have one last little challenge for you. So in the next 5 business days, and especially to bring our industry back, and you might want to put hospitality strong. You might want to reference the hospitality family Facebook page. But when you get an RFP or you're shortlisted or you do a site inspection or you do a finalized contract, thank the site selection professional. If there's an article that's out there or you've attended a virtual event, post on that virtual event. Again, just to put everything out there about what's positive and what's moving everything forward. And then the third one is to follow a third party and comment on their industry postings. So in the next 5 business days, do one of these things each day. And then at the end, post it on the HSM Facebook page when you've completed the 5-day challenge. And I don't want to hold up too much longer. I am now going to introduce, and we'll stick around to the end because I didn't tell Michelle. Michelle, I'm sorry. I didn't tell you that we usually hang on for about an hour and a half, or at least we have been. So we might be going on a little bit later, but I didn't tell you that. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
So I want to keep us on time, and then I'm going to go back at the end to kind of wrap things up. But Michelle Carlen with Alignment Advertising, because of everything
advising,
and we have folks in furlough, and and even as you're looking to reposition your hotels and your brands, because we have some directors of sales and marketing as well. I asked Michelle to talk about how to get an alignment during this time, and just a little bit about her. She's been in the CVB DMO world for 24 years and has served some of the top California coastal destinations. She's an industry leader, and she started her own consulting and coaching practice aimed to serve us in our industry and as well as individuals. So I'm not going to read that verbatim, but Michelle, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you can share your screen. And thank you so much, Michelle, for being here with us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michelle. Yes. So Michelle Carlen, Alignment Advising. And I'll just add a little bit to your introduction, Michelle, for everyone's knowledge. And that is, I have spent many, many years in the hospitality and tourism space, and really and truly love this industry. And also at the same time knew that I had my own path that I wanted to create. And so I took some time last year to do some introspection and found myself at a crossroad. I was no longer with my most recent CVB, which was Visit Santa Barbara, and determined that I needed to figure out what is it that I help people with. And I learned that I help organizations grow their business, but I do it in a way that creates alignment. So I help them optimize marketing, sales, and operations. So I do serve CVBs, or DMOs as we call them, as well as hotels and other small businesses. I also work with individuals or professionals who are in a career transition or just are seeking professional development education. And so I'm serving two sets of clients, and I'm, again, really excited to be here with you today. Michelle has asked me to focus on, kind of this topic of branding, but also giving you something personalized that you can apply to your own life, but also to your business moving forward. So I'm going to ask for a show of hands before I share my screen, and that is, who feels that this moment in time, the last 5 months, have been some of the most challenging times that you've ever had? Anybody? Right? Okay. And you're like, God, when can I get a breath, right? Is this ever going to happen? I mean, you wake up and then there's something else. And it's not just one thing. It's a complex situation out there. And so what I'm hoping that I'll provide to you today is really some groundwork that you can build upon and feel a little bit more relaxed, confident, and that you have some action steps to move forward. So with that, excuse me, I am going to share my screen for our brief presentation here. Okay, so I like to say that alignment advising is focused on your best success. And that is, again, if you're a business or an individual, doesn't really matter. That is what I'm helping you to do. So today we have 3 steps. And within the 3 steps, I'm going to give you 9 keys. And those keys are going to unlock your path forward. These are very simple. The first one is to find your alignment. Right? So we're talking about being in alignment. What does that mean? How many of you have gone to the chiropractor? You're like, oh, my neck's out, everything hurts. You go there, they adjust you, your spine is aligned, you walk out and you're like, oh, this feels great, right? There's an ease to it. You can move forward easily. And that's what we're going to get you into, is this alignment. So the first key is to develop a perspective mindset. Now, what do I mean by that? So how you view your current situation, whether you're at the hotel, like most of you are, as a sales manager or director, You're running into very challenging times, right? The entire way the meetings industry has been doing business is now changed. So how you feel about that, you may feel some negativity. You may feel like you're stuck. You're just like, ugh, I don't like this. It's uncomfortable. What I want to share with you is the way to shift that energy is to take on some different practices. And an example of one is a gratitude practice. Is anyone doing a gratitude practice currently? Michelle? Okay, I can't see everybody, so pardon me. This is super simple. It can take you literally a minute. It could take you an hour, depending on how much time you want to give it. But I recommend that you write down 3 things that you're grateful for, whether it's in the morning when you wake up or at the end of the day. And these can be basic things. It can be, you know what, I enjoyed my coffee this morning before the family woke up, right? With that peace and quiet. It could be, I was so grateful that I was able to exercise today, even though it wasn't for my full hour that I normally do. And what this does is it changes your energy, so that you can better adapt to the different challenges that you're going to face in your day. So key number 2 then is challenge yourself to try something new. We get in a groove, right? We get in our patterns, and I think what's been challenging about the pandemic and everything else going on in our global state of affairs is that we've been thrown off the tracks, right? We're not in our routines. We're now working from home. Kids are doing distance learning. And it's just uncomfortable. So that's actually a good thing. I would actually say, let's add to your uncomfortableness, and just stick with me here, that you want to try something new. So it could be you've never joined a book club, but you hear about one from, maybe it's an MPI group or something that's offering that. Maybe you decide you want to try a new sport. Why not? Maybe you want to try doing some artwork. You've never done that before. What that allows you to do is grow and see that perspective, that mindset shift, like we were talking about in the first key. So I challenge you to try something new. It doesn't have to be big. You don't have to do it multiple times, just at least try it once. Okay, 3rd key in finding your alignment is to carve out time for personal care. And I know this can be cliche at times. You hear people talking about self-care and, oh, what are you doing? And, oh, I'm going to a spa. That's not necessarily what I mean. What I'm saying is, for us to be successful, we have to have some private time and some personal space, right? You need to do the things that make you feel relaxed and that you have a sense of well-being with. That could be eating a healthy meal. It could be taking a 5-minute meditation break at your desk. It could be taking a walk around the block. It doesn't really matter what it is. It just needs to be something that you're doing to help yourself keep that healthy energy level. Okay, so the second step is to uncover new opportunities. And as site, yes. Oh,
advance
the slide. I do it every time. I get to go into my presentation, I forget to advance the slide. So the second step is uncover new opportunities. And this is perfect for us, whether you're talking with a site selection professional or you're just focused on developing your own book of business. We want to find that potential and find that business. And it is challenging because our day-to-day has changed so much. So the first key is to nurture relationships. And this is a great example of doing that, right? So here you are in this Zoom call with Michelle, Avery Murphy with Avery Murphy, LLC, learning about how to better understand your clients. That is nurturing relationships, because guess what? You're all going to continue the conversation after this class. Same applies for you talking to your clients. Why not send them a thank you note in the mail for their time on the phone one day or their time on a Zoom call? Some of you may have already tried a happy hour or a coffee chat with them. I highly recommend that. You might want to take it a step further and send them your favorite bottle of wine from the hotel or the winery down the street from your resort, right? And invite them, hey, I'd love for you to open this bottle of wine with me on Zoom. Some way to just advance that communication. Okay, the second key for uncovering new opportunities is to educate yourself. Again, you're doing that through this. I recommend also industry associations, so MPI, someone mentioned Cvent Connect, the virtual conference. These are great ways to brush up on your skill set. You can go outside of the industry and look at some universities are offering free courses right now. So you may, educate yourself about something that's completely unrelated to what we're talking about. And the third key is to be a resource. So being a resource allows us to expand our relationships because people then keep us top of mind. So one of those things is, for instance, if you read an article about how to better set up your virtual office or your remote workstation at home, and say you just got off a call with a meeting planner and they were like, oh, I'm so frustrated with my home setup, you might want to forward that email to that client and say, hey, I know we just chatted about this the other day, thought this article was helpful for me, maybe it's something you can take a look at. And that just gives you another touch point with your client, right? So that the next time something rolls around or the next time you dial for dollars and you're talking to them, they're like, oh yeah, you know what, Michelle sent that to me and she actually cares beyond selling her property or her destination. She actually is concerned about me as a client and a person. So be a resource.
Michelle,
yes.
May I just add something with regard to being a resource? One of the things that I'm hearing from meeting planners is that they are also looking for what's not working. So if there's a mistake that's been made, don't, in the past, we've been taught to cover that up or minimize that. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's a positive way to say, hey, we drove it into the ditch over here, and that was an epic fail. And I just want to share it with you because if you don't come to our hotel, make sure you don't have that mistake happen at the next hotel. That is, as far as being a resource right now, it's not just sharing about what's working, but what isn't working, because we're in uncharted territories. And I just wanted to add that little thing in because that's what meeting planners are sharing with me, that they're really missing, is that people don't want to share when they've made a mistake right now because we've been conditioned to hide that. And it's counterintuitive, but that's something to be shared right now.
That's an excellent point, Michelle. And it could even be the way that you open that, because sometimes people are uncomfortable just coming out saying, oh, we made a mistake with this group. What you could say is, we've had a couple opportunities of trial and error, and now we think we've mastered that this is the new setup with the socially distanced tables, and here's the check-in, and everyone has a mask as they walk up. And so giving an example of, we did trial and error, and here's what we picture for your group moving forward at your event at our property. Great point. All right, last slide. And our last step is to check in with yourself, okay? So again, this is really, really important, and I can't stress it enough, because when we're all under immense stress, which we are now through the pandemic, and then some, we have to be in tune with ourselves. We have to know what's working and what isn't. So our first key is to ask ourselves, how passionate are you about hospitality and the meetings industry? And I mean, hopefully everyone here is like, I still love this industry. I love being in this business. I love my clients, I love my partners, all of that. It's important to ask that question because oftentimes when you're hit with crises, like we are now with multiple of them, this is when people get forced into situations where they're in a crossroad, like I was in my own career, that I had to make a choice that, as much as I loved the DMO space, I actually wanted to go and help other companies and other individuals. And so I took that leap of faith. I answered that question. I'm passionate about helping others and other businesses. And so if there's any inkling that you're having right now, like, I don't know if I want to continue down this road, I would say explore that a little bit further. And I'm here to offer support. And I know there's a number of coaches out there, but it's important to answer that question. Okay, so the second key for checking in with yourself is to also get polished. So whether you have decided that absolutely, I still love the hospitality industry, or I'm not sure, I might want to do something else, you still want to be prepared and polished. And an example of that is making sure that your resume is up to date, even if you're not looking for a job, because you never know when an opportunity comes across your desk or you meet someone, whether it's virtually or in person, and they present to you all of a sudden your dream job that you had no idea even existed. So you want to have that resume up to date, and as well as, you know, make sure you're up on the latest job sites, some latest interviewing tips. Obviously, technology has really impacted how we do job searches. I am also available to support you with these as well. And so our last key under check in with yourself is to also better understand yourself. Okay, so again, if you're looking at, no, I still love the hospitality industry, or no, I don't love the hospitality industry, what is it that you do like? You know, maybe it's you decide you want to go into real estate. You always had that passion, but you kind of pushed it aside. Maybe you started in medicine and you started getting a nursing degree and then got fed up with all the work that had to be done, and so then you somehow landed in hospitality. I don't know your story yet. I would like to know. So what I mean too is that make a list of those things. You know what? I love food nutrition. I love sports. Whatever it is, write it down. Get to know yourself a little bit better. Better. Also, utilize some behavioral assessment tools. So if you've heard of Myers-Briggs or the DISC profile, of which I offer a report, it helps you understand how you are in the workplace and what type of position might be the best fit for you. So it'll analyze, you know, if you're a great leader, a great follower, maybe somewhere in between, and what type of position might be ideal for you. So those are the 3 steps and the 9 keys for you to move forward. To quickly recap, we've got finding your alignment, okay, developing that perspective mindset, challenging yourself to something new, carving out time for personal care. Step number 2, uncover your new opportunities, nurture those relationships, educate yourself, be a resource. And number 3, check in with yourself. How passionate are you? Make sure you get polished. And then finally, better understand yourself. So with that, that concludes my presentation. This is my contact information. You can also find me on Facebook as well. Please send me a request to join, to be a friend. Just to add to your presentation, Michelle, for my company, I have a LinkedIn page specific for alignment advising. I do not have a Facebook page or an Instagram page for alignment advising. It's actually my own personal page. And I do a mix of personal and business on my personal pages on Facebook and Instagram. And I've chosen not to put alignment advising on there for various reasons. I do find that I'm having great connections in the LinkedIn space for my business specifically. But then people also find me, like Michelle's saying, on Facebook. They're like, oh, she does art. And oh, yeah, her business, alignment advising. So it's a nice mix. I'll open it up for questions if we have time, Michelle.
Absolutely.
Okay. Anybody? I will offer everyone here on the call a 30-minute free consultation with me if you just want to, you know, have some time to share what you're dealing with personally or professionally, and maybe some thoughts that are going through your head about what your next steps are, if you're staying in your job or going or what. I'm happy to help you with that.
Michelle, if I could ask you, first of all, before we do that, if anybody needs this contact information, do a share screen thing. That's what I was going to do. If you guys need that information, I can forward it to you. Plus, you'll get the recording of this.
I'll put it in the chat too.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for stop sharing. That's what I was going to ask. So anybody have any questions for Michelle?
I just wanted to say, you know, I've known Michelle professionally for a long time and friendly on Facebook quite a bit. And she's a fabulous artist as well. We bought these beautiful personalized painted cards that are for our VIP guests. And you're really growing that side of things. I'm just, for lack of sounding condescending, I'm so proud of you for all you do.
Thanks, Tracy.
No, that's awesome.
Well, but and that just goes to show you when we're talking about nurturing relationships, like our relationship has moved beyond my time in Monterey, right?
Yes.
And even aside from my business, alignment advising, we have a connection with my art. So you just never know where these opportunities are going to come.
Absolutely.
And this is your path forward. So I hope that this was helpful for everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. You're welcome.
I'm going to share my screen one more time because I have, I want to share with you because I know that folks, we've had some things happen and the assignments, and one of the things that happened is I didn't get you the replay of the video from last week until Monday of this week. So I want to give you all an opportunity to fulfill your requirements to earn your seat deposit back. So, and I know many of you have already done that, and I saw the posts. I didn't look over everything, but turn in a total of 30 qualified site selection professionals by 2 p.m., which is next Wednesday, September the 2nd. And I'll give you that additional time to complete the assignments so that you can earn your seat deposit back. The only thing that I want to share is that I saw in a couple of them that some folks had put anonymous. They obviously spoke to someone who didn't want to be stated. And I'm glad that you did the exercise, but that doesn't help everybody look at those qualified lists, because what I'm going to do is combine everything together so that you guys all have a list of qualified site selection professionals, and you'll know not just the ones that you talk to, but the ones that everybody else talked to. And you know, if you're in the association market, all of these people have the check mark next to association, and those are folks that I can concentrate on even if you didn't reach out to them. Or if somebody's working a particular market, let's say the West Coast, and you're located on the West Coast, that you can talk to all of those people. If somebody's working the Midwest, you can say, here's the site selection professionals that I will talk to. I also noticed that there's been a couple of dupes on one person's list to another person's list. And I'm going to do my best to get that complete compiled list to you by the end of this week. But those lists are being posted on Facebook so that you can see them. And if you took a few moments, just click on the lists and make sure that you're looking at some different folks, because the whole point is for you guys to get not just the benefit of your 30 calls that you made, but the benefit of everybody else's 30 calls that they made. So for the extension, anything that's anonymous or dupes won't qualify in the extension period. If you've already turned in a partial assignment, what's in the partial assignment, that's excluded. It's from this point forward that no one anonymous or any dupes can be included. So I wanted to give that to you all because I had been late in posting the replay from last week. And yes, Darlene, go ahead.
Michelle, one of the site selection planners that I reached out to, she sent me an email back and she said, Darlene, I've already sent this to you. And I looked through everything and I said, I'm so sorry, I don't see it anywhere. And then she said, another person in our group, she said, oh, this is what I sent to them. So I'm just going to cut and paste it and send it to you too. I hope that's okay. And I was like, oh, but we both had reached out to the same person.
Yeah. And how are we going to know? Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw that. So I'm just saying for going forward for the extension, because I tagged on a couple of days extra, but I just want everybody to have that opportunity. And what I really want is for everybody to have the compilation of all of that information, because there isn't another place out there where there is all that information. And for the folks that did their assignments, yes, you earn your $97 seat fee back, but I also want you to have that additional information, because that's the beauty of us masterminding together. So thanks for sharing that, Darlene. Does anybody have anything that they want to add? We actually, how about that? We ended on time today. Our final class, we finally pulled it together. But anybody want to share anything as we say our farewells? I know that it's been wonderful for me to be here with each of you. I thank all of you for playing full out. You've really been engaged and committed, and that inspires me. So I thank you from my heart.
Michelle?
Yes, Chris.
This is Chris. Could you tell us a little bit about the presentation you'll be doing for SGMP in September?
I'm going to be doing it on leadership. I
Okay.
almost called you Michelle, because Michelle speaks a lot about leadership, especially in crisis.
Yep.
And what I'm talking about is, I kind of alluded to it in I'm doing market research right now, because I'm going to be doing another, I'm going to launch another online course for meeting planners. And in that market research, what meeting planners really want to know is what's working and what's not working. And for instance, I talked to a meeting planner that I'm looking to possibly do some collaboration with in this new course, and she quickly pivoted into the virtual site, into the virtual thing. And she shared with me, she's like, I drove it in the ditch a couple of times. She said, one time I actually had to call a meeting. She had to call it because the software didn't work.
Jeez.
And it's just, a lot of this isn't working, like Zoom. Zoom crashed this week because it got overloaded. There's a lot of these platforms out there, but they don't know their capacity because their capacity has never been tested. So it wasn't her fault. It really wasn't it was the software's fault, but they can't test it. Like, these virtual meetings can't actually be tested. And what I'm hearing from meeting planners, what they desperately want is to have this open forum. If this works, don't hoard it to yourself, like, oh, this is mine, and my organization has the advantage. It's the same thing about masterminding here. My organization has the advantage. So, I don't want everybody else to have the advantage, because I want to get ahead. There's this time more than ever, it's about, Christina coined this word, and I don't know if she coined it or if she heard it from someplace, but she called it cooperation. What we want to do is cooperate, not compete. And, you're down, so that makes me ahead. And I'm going to speak more toward that and how that looks, without giving the whole thing away.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Okay, a little spoiler alert, but I'm all about adult competition. Adult learning is all about repetition. There's going to be an email in your inbox with a little thank you. But I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot. If anybody, what is the one thing that you've learned from our time here together these past 4 weeks that you think you can't live without moving forward as you continue on in your jobs?
For me, oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Darlene.
No, I think what we talked about earlier, just really reading the RFPs 3 times, really realizing that we are working together. That is the biggest thing, because I have to say, when I would get the C-Vent leads, I'd be going, oh my gosh, okay, I got to read all this and I got to do it. And I'm going to be competing against, 10 other hotels. Nobody's going to come up to the mountains. But now really engaging myself in the RFP and putting in everything so that you are sitting at your desk and you're looking at it going, I want you to be thinking to yourself, but there isn't anything I need to ask. You know, she has everything in here. She's engaged. She wants the business, and it might not work out this time, but for the next time, you'll know if you send something to me, it's going to be great. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that, Darlene.
Yeah.
I guess to Darlene's point, I think that's, you know, so much in my hotel career and with Cvent, there's been every property I've been with, you know, we have our defaults that we have in the Cvent RFPs. And if I've worked with you, for example, Michelle Murphy, for a long, long time, and every single time you get, you know, an RFP from me or a proposal from me, it's got the same information in all the sections. So to me, it's really, again, reading 3 times, changing it up each time. So I stand out not only to your client, but to you as well. So that you're going, oh, it's the same old stuff Tracy always sends, right? So I think it was just really, really valuable to take that with me to make sure I'm making myself stand out each time. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tracy.
As for me, I just felt with my conversations that we truly do not think of the site selection professionals as a market, as a segment that we should be targeting and building those relationships with. That's what I took away from it too, is that just reaching out to them. I do reach out to them, but not on a consistent basis. And receiving that RFP, you know, this morning, it just speaks clearly how you become a person and they become a person. So I take that away. And it was, you could tell their relief when you talk to them, like, oh, it's a human person. And they just shared their struggles and what they're going through right now. And I learned a little bit about them. It was great.
Wonderful. Thank you, Fran.
Mm-hmm.
I like that the idea where you started off with kind of differentiation of how we throw the word partner out, but the differentiation between partner and client, but then bridging the gap to a true partnership of, you know, offering our restaurant and picking up the check, and that mutual understanding of, hey, you know, you're with a great site selection professional, you're in great hands here, you know, just want to come touch the table, say hi, or just how we align with you better as a true hotel partner, and you know, advance the relationship from client to a true partner. I think that was eye-opening for me, in kind of keeping that. Yeah.
Anyone else?
I'd like to piggyback on what Gabe said too, just your idea of referencing in a Cvent response the past pieces of business maybe we've worked on together, highlighting in a complimentary way the role of the site selection person. Like, and I thought that was really astute, like to say, you know, compliment and thank your site selection person and call out something special about him or her so that then gets relayed on to the end user. I thought that was a great tip.
Thank you. I just wanted to first and foremost thank everyone in the Facebook challenge. In addition to posting that back on the Hospitality Sales Masterclass page, I encourage you. You've been really engaged in the course, and you've been really engaged in the assignments and everything, and I truly appreciate it. I think as I shared what I'm going to share with the meeting planners, I want to share it with all of you as well, is if you run across a challenge, feel like this is a group. I hope you all feel bonded in that cooperation and not the competition, where you can say, hey, I had a challenge and this is how we overcame it. So maybe you don't stumble the next time, or if you have a success and you want it to be celebrated, because I know at your hotels there isn't the size of the teams that you used to have, and you're doing more with less, and so they're not taking the time to pause into what Michelle shared about self-care. is, you know, we get so busy working that we don't take a few moments to celebrate. So when you have a success, I want to encourage you to continue to use this mastermind that you guys have all developed together here to share your successes so that we can all celebrate you. And when somebody does, if everyone can join me in saying, hey, great job. Thank you so much for sharing. Use the Hospitality Sales Masterclass Facebook page to continue to create that community. And I am very, very grateful for each of you here for, again, participating, playing full out. And I wish you unlimited success in your careers moving forward. And let's bring this business back before anybody predicts it can come back safely, of course, safely. Let's bring it back safely before anybody predicts that it can come back. I see us, I want to hear us starting to rock and roll this fall, because the numbers I've been watching a little bit are coming down. Things are starting to open up more. And of course, let's all continue to wear our masks. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm very grateful for all of you.
Thank you.
I'm going to miss you next Wednesday.
Thank you so much.
Stay in touch.
Nice to meet everybody.
Nice to meet you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you again, Michelle.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.